I told you all that Semenyo could be the game changer. And I told you all in a video specifically that this could change everything. When you put a wide player this season that's in unbelievable form with nearly 16 goal contributions already this season, when you put him in a team that is going to constantly give him service with players like Phil Foden, Reijnders, Cherki, Bernardo Silva, Rodri, Erling Haaland, when you put those sort of players around him, you're going to get an unbelievable strike force, which when City line up with Reijnders, Cherki, Semenyo and Erling Haaland, that for me, on current form right now, is arguably the best attack in Europe. They have got everything. Erling Haaland has got, his record alone, him in a Man City shirt is obscene. The brilliance of Reijnders, Cherki, you could argue right now he's the best player in the league on current form. Some people may say Declan Rice. Some people may say someone else. But the only 2 or 3 players that you can really have that debate on are Reijnders, Cherki, Semenyo, and Declan Rice. And when you've got 2 of those players in your team, Man City have just turned up to one of the toughest grounds in the Premier League. St James's Park is a tough place to go for everyone. This season, they haven't had the best of times playing the bigger teams, though. Liverpool won there with a 100th minute winner from Reijnders Guimaraes. Arsenal turned up with a 2-1 win with Gabriel getting involved. The Man City have done it as well. But to do it in a competition where Eddie Howe has only lost 1 of his last 18 games, which was the final against Manchester United, the year later beat everyone, beat Arsenal home and away, and then beat Liverpool in the final. This season, they've already knocked out my team, Spurs. Bearing in mind, we are so far in the mud right now. It's unreal. So that isn't saying much. But City today, I think their second goal that was ruled out should have counted. If they could have come away with 3-0 winners, I don't get some of Eddie Howe's team selection today. I think Nick Woltemade should have started. But you have to give huge praise for City. That was a very, very good away performance. And as good as Eddie Howe has been at galvanising his teams in terms of going away to tough grounds and winning, I don't see them going to the Etihad and beating City with a 2-goal deficit. They'd have to be unbelievable on their day. Like, you're talking every man to a T has to be perfect to go there, recover a 2-goal deficit, and then obviously beat City as well. So Man City have pretty much got one hand on that final. And if they're going to play Arsenal, they've got a very good record at Wembley. Chelsea don't. They've lost 6 finals in a row. That is set up to be Guardiola versus Arteta. And what's really, really interesting is the only game they have had at Wembley, or the only 2 games they've had at Wembley, I believe one game was the FA Cup semi-final. Arteta won with Aubameyang. It's going to be really, really interesting tomorrow's game. But City today, Reijnders, Cherki, Phil Foden, Erling Haaland, Semenyo, partner that with Rodri. Some team, man. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already. We're very, very close to 87.1k. Make sure you also go over to the second channel at Henry Talks Football and subscribe to that channel. Lots of content going out. Van de Ven being linked with a move to Liverpool, which I'm not even going to get into it because that just boils my blood. Not only that, Tottenham have agreed a deal for Conor Gallagher. So there's loads of content. So make sure you subscribe to both channels. Let me know your thoughts on Manchester City 2, Newcastle 0. Nico O'Reilly may be City's most versatile player right now. This guy can play everywhere. DM, centre-back, left-back, right-back, central midfield. Like, Guardiola is very good at moulding these players that can do that. Nunez is probably another one. He plays right-back for them, but he can play a number of positions. Bearing in mind, they had no Vardy out, they had no Ruben Diaz, and they had no Donnarumma. Newcastle, other than Woltemade and Tonali not starting, that's a very strong Newcastle team. Gordon, for me, has to do more. Trafford, Ake, Elneny, Kuzanov, Nunez. I'd would argue that maybe that Newcastle backline is probably better than the City backline. Probably is. O'Reilly in the pivot. Doku, Foden, Silva, Semenyo. And obviously the big man up front, Haaland. Up against Pope. Miley stepping in. Still no Livramento. Again, being heavily linked to move away to Arsenal. Malik Chow, Botman, Hall. I think Hall was probably, I'm not just saying this because of Botman's rating. I actually thought he was very, very good first half. Jolinton, Bruno G, Ramsey. Good to see him get a start as well. Hasn't had a huge amount of football since leaving Villa to join them. Murphy, Wissa, and Gordon. But looking at Eleni and Kuzanov, they're not the most physically present centre-backs. They're not the sort of centre-backs that are going to barge you out of the way or constantly win headers like a Van Dijk, for instance. For me, Eddie Howe got it wrong. I would have personally started with Barnes. I think he's been in really good form. 2 goals in his previous game. 2 goals before that as well. In Red Hawk form, I understand that they've got a lot of football this month. You know, they've got FA Cup, they've played, they've got Champions League coming up, big Premier League games as well. I would have started Barnes and Woltemade. I think on current form, that's better than Wissa and Gordon. You know, Wissa's still coming back from a big injury. Gordon, other than from the spot this season, hasn't been that good. Both managers really use their benches as well. Harvey Barnes come on, Tonali come on, Ilanga come on, and Woltemade come on, and of course, Kieran Trippier. Reijnders, and Cherki off the bench, Ait-Nouri off the bench, Rodri and Rico Lewis. And City still had, you know, Donnarumma and a few academy players. You know, and bearing in mind, City are missing Semenyo, Diaz, Bob, Kovacic, Vardy, Stones, and of course, Omar Mamouche still on international duty with Algeria. Of course, Newcastle missing a lot of players there as well, including Dan Burn. The first goal comes from Semenyo. And I said this guy would make an impact. I said he is going to be a big, big player for them. You know, when you look at the numbers he's got this season in a Bournemouth shirt, like he's got 2 games in a City shirt, 2 goals, albeit the first goal was against Exeter. So, you know, the opposition isn't that great. But he's already got, 13 GA in a Bournemouth shirt. So he's now on 15 for the season. I can quite easily see him getting 22 or 23 GA this season. Bearing in mind, City have got a lot of football to play. That is a fantastic signing. But the signing of the season for me so far is Reijnders Cherki. This guy, man, this guy is obscene. Comes off the bench, makes an instant impact and gets his goal. When you think about they signed him from Lyon for just £35 million. That's one hell of a signing. That really, really is. He has got everything. For me, you could argue that he's technically the best player in the Premier League right now. Everything he's got, the weight of pass, the dribbling, the one-touch pass and move, the tiki-taka, you know, he's very, very good, you know, in the combinations as always, tight spaces. For me, he's got everything. And he's only, 22? 23 maybe? I think he's 22. I mean, he's, for me, he looks like he's got everything. And this season, he's on double digits for goal contributions as well. You know, scored in the League Cup already this season. Comes off the bench today. Like, this Man City team have got everything. They've still got to claw back a 6-point lead in the Premier League, but they do have a lot of flipping fucking good players, man. Like, Man United at the weekend, that could go over. Before we get into the goals, I want to look at their fixture. They've got Man United, Bodo Glimt, Wolves, Galatasaray, Spurs, Newcastle again, and Liverpool. I think it's fair to say that, do we say at this point that City are going through to the final? I don't see Newcastle coming back. Bodo will be a win for them. Wolves, Galatasaray will be a win for them. Manchester Derby, Michael Carrick, new manager bounce. Does he get something? I don't know. The only game I can really see them dropping points, coincidentally, is against us or Liverpool, because we'll end up doing a Spursy thing and giving Arsenal a bigger lead than they've already got. But in terms of today, you know, Semenyo takes his goal really, really, really well. You know, Reijnders Cherki took his goal really, really well. 2 decent finishes, 2 good bits of play. The VAR moment, I don't get how Erling Haaland is obstructing Pope when the centre-backs between them. You know, Man City striked first. You know, Jeremy Doku drives down the space, cuts it back. Semenyo taps it in. Sorry, that was Cherki's goal. Is it Cherki's goal? I think it was Cherki's goal. Cherki's goal, run across and then to pass it into an empty net. You know, Pope got not a lot of chance. But Doku, you know, runs into space, does a little one-touch with Silva. Semenyo arrives, attack the ball beyond Pope. And it's a really, really good win for them. And for me, today, they they absolutely did the right things in the clutch moments. They should have won 3, maybe 4-0. Newcastle, it just wouldn't run for them. The amount of times that Woltemade got in the right areas and the ball was just in front of him in the second half. When you look at the match stats, City were deserved winners, more possession, more shots, higher XG by some distance. Newcastle, though, 4 big chances missed. And that's what's cost them. Make sure you drop a like, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you soon. I'm out.